Guys, what are we going to look at today? Well, we are going to look at this. This is the Boker ceramic. You can see it spinning around in front of you right there. It is a gorgeous looking knife, but I have a love-hate relationship with this knife, and we're going to talk about why. So let's take a look at it from above and get into it. Let's not waste any more time here. So as you can see, guys, we are back around to this Boker again. Because like the title said, I have a love-hate relationship with this knife. I got this because I'd never gotten to see one. You guys probably remember that video. And here's the thing. It has so many things going for it that if it had been done just a little bit better, this thing would be amazing. But there are some things that just make it both possibly one of the coolest and worst knives I've had, and I bought this with my own money. So this is that Boker ceramic. It is a zirconium, so if you see here, it's a zirconium oxide ceramic done by Boker Plus. Now, let's talk about the good things about this knife. So let's go ahead and do that. But first, let's do some size comparisons. And this is a hard one to do, size comparisons, because it lays weird because it has a tip down carry single-sided pocket clip, which makes it lay funny. So let's get some stuff out for size comparison. The first of them is going to be the Concept Prickle, and as you can see, they're just about the same size. Not a real big knife. The Prickle's a little bit longer. So this is not a real big knife. Your next knife is going to be the Benchmade 940. As you can see, this knife, the Boker ceramic, is a little bit longer than the Benchmade 940. And then, as always, your final knife is going to be the Chris Reeve Knives Sebenza. So you can see, good bit smaller than the Sebenza. I always use the 21 Sebenza, large 21 Sebenza, because most people are going to have an idea of size when you compare it to this. So let's get this out of the way and talk about this love-hate relationship I have with this knife. All right, let's talk about the good things about this knife, because it does have a lot going for it. This knife is extraordinarily light. It is done in titanium and ceramic as the blade. Ceramic's much lighter than steel. This knife is super, super light. It is a folding knife. The finish on this knife is gorgeous, and that's just because it's ceramic. So it's black, so you don't have to worry about the finish wearing off because that's in the material. The blade itself, really, really well shaped and formed, and I have to say, this is the best knife to cut down cardboard with ever. It cleans up nice and easy, and you don't have to do anything to the edge because it's ceramic. This knife has cut down more cardboard than any other knife in this house, and it is still razor, razor sharp. The weird thing is it doesn't feel as sharp as it is, but the second you get on cardboard or paper with it, it just screams through it. The blade shape's done really, really well, and the grind is a hollow. I don't know if you guys can see that real clearly, but it's a hollow grind on this saber, and it comes down nice and thin. And like I said, extremely terrifying sharp when you do any work with it. Ergos in hand, incredibly comfortable in hand. It has got a very good shape. I typically take the pocket clip off, but I put it on for the video because we're going to talk about that later. But in hand, very, very nicely done. The shape of it is just about perfect. Lock bar access is really, really good. And you've got a lot of bells and whistles. When you look at this knife, it's an attractive, attractive knife. And like I said, I've never had anything cut as well as this knife does. Pocket clip in and out of pocket when you do use the pocket clip is not bad. It's tip down only, but in hand, it's fairly comfortable, to tell you the truth. It's a little bit more comfortable without it. And then the overall profile of the knife is nice and thin and slender. I typically take the pocket clip off and I put, if I'm going to carry this, which is not all that often, I will put it in my watch pocket, the fifth pocket. So you can see it looks like it needs a spanner for the hardware, but it doesn't. It is simply a Torx underneath this pocket clip. And disassembly in construction, disassembly of this knife is not hard at all. Really big, robust stop pin. Lockup on it is great. There is no issues with lockup on it at all. So lots of good things going for this knife, and it is attractive. I have to admit, that is an attractive little knife, especially with that finish of that black blade. And like I said, you don't have to worry about scratching the finish because it's ceramic. So a lot of good things going for this knife, but there are some trade-offs with this. So let's go ahead and get into the bad stuff. Now let's talk about the bad stuff about this knife, and there is plenty to talk about here. This knife is extremely fragile. You have got to be extremely cautious in use and carry. As you can see, where's it at? It's on the spine up here somewhere. You can see that just in carry with keys and stuff, I've chipped. Can you see the little chips? The little chip, here, let me zoom in. There's a lot of little chips along the top spine of that knife, as you can see, and that's just from being in pocket with keys and things like that. This blade is incredibly fragile, incredibly brittle. So if you were to cut into something and flex the blade at all, you could crack it easily. If you were using this and you hit something hard, you could chip the edge very easily. I've seen it happen a lot of times. I don't have any chips in this because I am very cautious with it. But very easy to do that. These blades, while they are extremely hard, that has been the bane of the ceramic knife for years, is that they chip and crack and break very easily. And then there's the fact that even if you have the stuff that you could possibly sharpen it, you're never going to get the edge on it that they do from the factory. So this would be something that in a higher end knife, I would send in for sharpening. I don't think Boker offers that as a service. Even though I have diamond stones and stuff like that, I don't feel comfortable with the fragility of that blade doing it. Like, that is something that is going to be difficult. Next thing, there's a good bit of lock stick. Can you hear it? Lock stick on that. And I'm afraid, and you can see it's already starting to happen in some places, there's some chipping on the face of this blade because it is ceramic. So you've got titanium that's locking into that, and then as you pull the lock away, it definitely has had some chipping. Let's see. You can see there's some minor chipping and stuff in there. To alleviate some of the lock stick, I absolutely have put graphite on that, and it just has not done anything to help it. Next thing that it has going against it is the pocket clip is horrible. It's not so much the pocket clip, it's just that it's horrible. It's the placement. This pocket clip would have been great if it was a tip up carry, as pretty much every other company on the face of the earth has switched to, with the exception of a couple smaller companies. I take the pocket clip off when I do carry this, which is not all that often. When I carry it now, it typically goes in my watch pocket above my other carry, because I noticed, partially because I noticed that the chipping was starting to happen when I would carry it with other things and keys. So yeah, pocket clip is not optimal. Action on this, if you can get it to deploy, is very, very hard. And like I said, then the lock stick is bad. So typically what I do is I just two-hand open it as if it was a slip joint, and then you don't have near as much the lockup, the knife slamming and getting the lock stick. You still get a little bit, but it's not as bad. So the action on it is not good. It is very hard to deploy, and I'm so afraid, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I am so afraid of the fact that this is going to eventually crack just by slamming open and hitting that stop pin. Sorry about that, guys. What I was saying is the action on this is horrible. And when you do get it open, there's a lot of lock stick, and I'm afraid that that's just going to break off and shear off. And the other thing is, when it does slam open, it slams open hard and it hits that stop pin. And on a ceramic blade, I'm afraid that eventually that's what's going to happen, is it's going to crack. So like I said, I just typically will two-hand open it like a slip joint or an older style knife. The other thing too is, if you look, my thumb studs have somehow managed to come loose. And I know why, because the detent hole, I've had this apart. The detent hole isn't a hole. It's like a square that's been ground into it with some sort of a tool. So I can't really say, that maybe this is, I doubt if that's a round hole. It's probably square, and then whatever material was holding that in place has just given up the ghost, probably some glue or something. And now those thumb studs are loose. And then the final thing it has against it is, this is an aesthetic thing, but you have this gorgeous, gorgeous polished ceramic blade, and it is such an incredible fingerprint magnet. It was clean when we started this video, and now it's not. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous blade. That is the thing that these ceramic blades have that going for them, is that they are very attractive and they fingerprint so badly. So I had originally gotten this knife to do as a giveaway. I was going to test it and then do it as a giveaway. And I have to tell you the truth, I like it enough. Last thing, ugly lanyard hole. And they didn't do a real good job cleaning that up. That's sharp. So if you did put a lanyard through there, there's a chance that it's going to chew it up and then you lose your lanyard. You can see there's a little bit of a knife edge lip on that. Can I fix that with a little drill bit or a chamfering bit and just stick it in there and do it by hand? Yeah, absolutely. But, that's something they should have thought of, especially someplace where somebody's going to put like 550 cord through. So all in all, I have to say, love, hate. I love a lot of things about this knife. If it wasn't for the fact that it has some small issues, I would think about carrying this more. When you take the pocket clip off, it's incredibly comfortable in hand. Super, super light. And like I said, nothing I own cuts down cardboard like this does. Nothing. There is not a knife in this house, bar none. This is the best for cutting down cardboard and opening packages. So take it as you would. Would I purchase one? Would I purchase one if I didn't already own one? Like if I had seen this first, I would not have bought one. Like if I'd gotten to handle it first. But there's some people that really like these. And I have to say, if you take care of it, this knife is going to last a lifetime. Not because of construction standards and things like that, but because of the materials it's made out of. Titanium and ceramic. You're going to have a hard time. As long as you're gentle with it, this should last a very, very long time. So yeah, guys, this is just fun. I had it out. I was cutting up some cardboard and I was like, you know what? I need to talk about this knife again. Because it just does pop into my head every once in a while. I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't done a video about that. So let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and send you out about your day. So guys, would I buy this knife again in retrospect? No, probably not. It just has it just has way too many issues. But I can appreciate it for what it is, and as long as you're cautious with it, it could be a knife that you use for specific tasks for a very long time. Just know that if you misuse this knife, as opposed to other knives, this is definitely going to let you know very quickly the things you can and can't do with it. So, was it worth the money I paid for it? Yeah, it really wasn't that expensive, and the amount of use that I've gotten out of this blade is great. I would prefer if this had been a fixed blade. I honestly would. So there you go, guys. Just another little weird thing that I had laying around. I had it out. I thought, well, we haven't filmed it for a while. So if you guys like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the content, give it a thumbs down. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon. If you do hit the bell icon, make sure you got notifications turned to all, and make sure you have notifications turned on your device so you get notified of everything I put up every week. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do that through my affiliate links down below. I have a bunch of them. There's a couple I'd like to bring to your attention. It's Coffee Brand Coffee and Doll Strong Knives. They have discounts at the moment, as well as Atlas VPN. All have discounts that you can get by using my affiliate link. Other ways you can do it, if you want to get into the memberships, you can get in on some tier-based benefits. Everyone that's a member has access to my Gilded server, which is just like Discord. Baseline and premium tier members are entered into a giveaway that I do on the Gilded server. And if you're a premium tier member, you have access to a sharpening tutorial series that I've built here on YouTube that you can only access through the paywall if you're a premium tier member. And the final way you can support the channel is I have a merchandise store on Ember Shirt Co. where you can pick up my merchandise and other creators' merchandise at a discount with my coupon code CrazySharp, capital C, capital S, all one word, saves you 10% at checkout. So that's pretty much it, guys. I love you all. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will see you in the next video.